Hi, Dawn.
Hey, Michelle.
We're doing it.
We're doing it. I mean, this has been a while. We've been trying to figure it out. Trying to figure out the systems that you have to have, the microphones, the recording, the editing to try to make us both sound even in the conversation.
It's a whole thing. Can you believe this is my 10th year of my podcast? That 4 years was radio only.
Yeah.
Actually, it was double. It doubled as a podcast, but now 6 years. This is my 10th year. Yeah, I'm just doing it. So I hear you. It's all the things.
I can't even believe that you did that for 6 years and you weren't on video, because you are actually a very beautiful lady.
Oh, thank you. It's part of, I'm not very technical.
Yeah, me either. Well, I'm going to kick this thing off by just saying, tell me a story. Doesn't matter when you were little, or whatever time it was in your life. It's a moment when you were fathered. It could be a funny story, a serious, sad, important, but something that made a lasting impression on you.
Yep. So I always say that we can answer any question in any different way depending on the relationship we have with someone, right? The more we trust them, we're going to dive deeper, right, into the pool, and then we may stay in the shallow end, right, if we don't. And so as I've pondered, Dawn, this question that you've asked, here's where I decided to land. I'm calling this sense and sensibility, but I'm not spelling it S-E-N-S-E. I'm spelling it S-C-E-N-T-S, like that we smell, sense and sensibility. So the little backstory to this is I'm going to tell you a story about my dad's childhood that impacted how he fathered me, and then the impact of my dad's fathering on me. How does that sound?
That sounds fantastic.
Okay, so my dad's fathering story is that he grew up on the south side of Chicago, was in gangs from the time he was 12. Pretty dark stuff. Really no oversight. And when I say no, I'm talking about little to none. Like one of his last memories of his dad in their home is when his mom put an iron on his dad's drunk face. And so there was lots of chaos, 3 different last names of the 7 kids with 3 different dads in and out. So it was survival of the fittest, really. So my dad had no template, really. When I say no template of how to be a dad, he had a template that said, don't do it that way. So then my dad ends up, becoming a father to 4 girls. But let me tell you one more thing about my dad that I'm tying to this theme of sense, what we smell, because our olfactory senses are the strongest of all our 5 senses. Like we can smell something and it takes us right back to a memory, right?
Absolutely.
You're like, oh, my mom used to make snickerdoodle cookies, or, oh, those, that smell of stew in the crock pot or whatever, right? It takes us back to a holiday or a memory, positive or negative, right? And I was thinking of something that I've actually never put together till I was preparing for our conversation, Dawn, is that my dad's dad died of gangrene, homeless, in a boxcar. He lived in a boxcar. He had worked for the railroad, and everything went south, and I think his alcoholism took over, and they had to actually amputate legs, and that's what ended up killing him. And I never thought about what that smell must have been like, living in a boxcar, the smell of alcohol. But knowing that my dad was significantly shaped, as was his dad, by foul smells. Contrast that now to a powerful way that my dad fathered me, is that my dad went to a men's retreat when I was, oh my goodness, maybe 8th grade, 9th grade, something like that. And I'm the oldest of 4 girls. And so whatever my parents tried on me, right, I was the guinea pig, would either be repeated in the way they parented my sisters or not, And so my dad goes to this men's retreat, and they said, think of a way to connect with your children, like with who they are, which doesn't seem like that profound of a question now. But this was oh my goodness, early 70s. There wasn't much out about fathering.
No, there was almost nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Little to nothing. So even the fact that they said to these men something about what do your children need from you was really profound, right? So my dad thought, well, what do girls like? At that point, he didn't have four because my youngest sister is 14 years younger. So people thought she was born as a freshman in high school, that she was my daughter, right? That I was pushing a stroller at 16 of a 2-year-old. They thought she was mine, right? But so my dad at the time, though, said, what do girls like? Guess what came to his mind, Don? Perfume.
Really?
He went, girls like perfume.
Yes, they do.
That one thought ended up sparking an idea that my dad, who had no template about how to be a father, has done a lot right and a lot that hasn't been so right. Issues with anger or dominance or, some painful things that we are still working out. And my dad is almost 88. But going back to that one day with that one question, my dad ended up saying, okay, girls, I'm going to start something. At Christmas time, let's go to the mall, go to Nordstrom or Macy's, and you get to pick out any perfume you want. Anyone. But here's the key. My dad didn't hand me a credit card and say, go get it. We did lunch first. Then we went into the perfume department and my dad sat. They always have some high chairs in there because they are trying things on people. My dad would sit in the chair year after year. Oh my goodness. I'm thinking we did this at least 25 years.
My goodness.
Because my dad's stance was, I'm going to do this as your main man until you get married. Once you get married, you're on your husband's going to do this, or whatever his version is of loving on you at Christmas. So I was the oldest of all my sisters and the last to get married at 60. So I kept saying to my dad, you had no idea what you're signing up for. And we called it Perfume Day. Yeah, my dad broke the bank. But here's the thing I want to say, Dawn. And this is the part that literally brings tears to my eyes in the best of ways, is that I have a hard time receiving. I'm better at giving. So it was often really hard in the core of me to have my dad spend money on me for perfume because it's so expensive. And I remember the year, this is maybe a good decade ago, where my dad bought me $180 bottle of perfume. They don't give that stuff away anymore, but it gets better. We found this Joe Malone scent that I loved that's from Paris, I think. And the whole point is that you mix, not colors, but the scents together. And they play together well. So you make your own scent.
Oh my.
By whichever two you decide to put together. Don, what do you think my dad did that Christmas?
I don't know.
He bought me 2. He never did that before or since, but we came upon this section in Nordstrom that had this spectacular perfume. And he said, I'm going to buy you 2. Okay, I wasn't born yesterday. I know how to add. I'm like, that's too much, Dad. It's way too much. No. He said, nope, I'm getting it. And so I, mind you, have perfume up and down my arms because you have to try perfume on to know how it smells on you. So my dad is helping me fine tune and hone in on the 2 that I ended up getting from him. Because he was like, yep, that's it. Oh, that's so good on you. You know what happened in the perfume department every year? Women would come up that were clerks and go, I wish my dad would do this with me. You're so lucky to have a dad like this. And here's where my dad really took one for the team. I'm the team. I love photography. I say there's 5 love languages plus 1. My love language, my 6th love language. There's a 6th one that's hidden. It's photography. I've actually told Gary Chapman this, the guy who wrote that book. I'm like, there's a 6th one and it's photography. I speak it and I give it. I receive it. So my dad is willing to take about 30 pictures with me. all different versions and ways and holding up the perfume and not and this and that.
Oh my,
which
that's
is
great.
not his favorite. But I can tell you, I have picture after picture, year after year, which mostly is funny to look at the hairstyles. I'm like, some of that back in the 80s, you could have I had such big bangs, you could put a bird's nest in my bangs, you know?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, here's what I want to say about my dad fathering me well with Perfume Day is look at the contrast of this scent that smelled beautiful on me. I mean, it reminds me of Mary, who anointed Jesus' feet with perfume and her tears. That's me. I've been forgiven much, I love much. And this perfume, I have many of these bottles still today. They have not gone rancid. I don't know how. But they are all a reminder every time I wear them, day after day, week after week. Like my first day in the radio station 10 years ago with the Dad Whisperer podcast that was just the Dad Whisperer on radio. I wore my perfume from my dad. It's like I carried my dad's love with me to the station that day, to men's conferences I speak at, to different events. Literally, that perfume, that investment my dad made in me with paying a pretty penny for some perfume has stayed with me year after year after year. So I'm telling dads, we call it Perfume Day. I looked forward to it forever, every year. We usually went on the 23rd or 24th of December. And it was life-changing for me. And it has stayed with me because what does Scripture say? Where your treasure is, that's your money, there your heart is. My dad's money investment in me with perfume has showed me where his heart is with me. And that's what I call sense and sensibility. You have it.
Very, very good. So that's also a moment that shaped who you are today.
Absolutely.
You know, I have a story on my own that I have about my daughter, but I'll share it when, not the whole thing, but we ended up having money for the first time. And, it's when your royalties come in, and we bought these 2 perfumes and brought them to her. And when we came in, she was just so upset because she sent a love note to her boyfriend in high school, and it dropped out of her purse, and it ended up on a bulletin board. And she was so angry. She goes, I don't know if I'll ever get over this day. And then we say, well, maybe you would like what we just bought you today. And these 2 perfumes, and she goes, I go, you better now? She goes, yeah, I'm a lot better now. What is it with perfume and girls? But when you talk about your dad, it's not for him. He wanted you to be honored, as the, I guess you would call it as a girly girl. As a girl, you're a woman, a girl, and the smell of that is incredible. I mean, and the idea of what he did is something that should be done annually.
Well, and I think to add to that is that some dads think, hey, I launched my daughter at 18. Go team. We did it. Mom and me, we did it. And kind of have a mindset of now they're on their own. They're in their calling or their gifting or their future. And they're going to step ahead with my support, right? But they're on their own. And I'm saying, my dad did this for me all the way up till I was 59. That was my last one with my dad. So I think this gives dads a vision of the long game.
Yes.
Is keep investing in your daughter after she's left your home. My dad chose to say, I'm not going to do it after you're married, but I know other dads that have done it that way. I even have, one of my friends from high school did this with his granddaughter because he saw me post about it on social media. He's like, hey, what do you think? He said, I only have 3 sons. Could I do this with my granddaughter? Yes, you could do it with your daughter-in-law. If she doesn't have a dad in the picture, you can do it with a niece or a nephew, especially in our culture. We have a lot of fatherless kids. So I say to dads listening, find a young girl in your church, maybe you'll take a mom figure with you or something to make it safe if she's not your daughter. But you get to make a forever deposit.
You do.
By activating this, this idea where I found men say 2 things. this is my observation from traveling to Mars now for 16 years, which is your planet, is that men would often rather do nothing than do it wrong.
That's good.
Right? You'd rather do nothing than do it wrong. But then I follow that up with saying, but you get doing nothing is doing it wrong.
But he just didn't buy
They
you.
always go, yep. But then I followed up with, but I know you want to do it right. And that's where I'm going to come alongside you. Here's what you do. Go buy perfume. Take her with you. So
Yes.
you're doing it together, making a forever deposit into her heart. Because like you were saying, Dawn, this puts value on her. It lets her know she's worthy of your time, your investment. And that builds a bridge to God as a father.
And she's priceless. We're about to come to the end of our time. And I just want to thank you so much, Michelle, for that. It's going to have a lot of meat, or should I say a lot of sense for the people that will be listening.
Sense to men.
Yes, it will. I just want to thank you for this time with you and bless you and the continuation of your incredible podcast.
Well, it's been a joy to be with you here. Thanks, Dawn. I wish you all the best in yours as well.
We'll let you go. See you, Michelle.
Okay. Bye, Dawn.
Bye-bye.